Hello, thanks for taking the time to watch and for taking the time to listen. The reflection that I have for you today comes from the book of Luke, and I'm going to read a verse from chapter 3, verse 14. This is what the verse tells us. Soldiers also asked him, "And we, what should we do?" He said to them, "Do not extort money from anyone by threats or false accusation, and be satisfied with your wages." In this passage in chapter 3, John the Baptist gets confronted by questions from the crowd, and there are also some tax collectors who ask him questions. They've all come to him for baptism. And John's answer to them is pretty much a call to right living. But the soldiers have a question that really it's quite interesting. In fact, I think it's a difficult question. So these soldiers come to him, and it's not clear what kind of soldiers they are. But the implication of John's answer is that extortion and brutality were a common practice, right? I mean, it certainly was common to see in battles of times gone by. They would plunder cities, and soldiers would engage in terrible acts of brutality. But John's answer to them is quite simple. He says, don't extort money from anyone by threats or by false accusation, and be content with your wages. Unanswered and unasked are the bigger questions here. You might think that John would have something to say about soldiers, the role of soldiers, the role of the empire, the Roman Empire. What about the relationship of an oppressed people to an occupying power? John doesn't say anything about these bigger issues. And even Jesus seems to sidestep the implications of such questions when he was confronted with the matter of taxes. Rome's domination of the world came with a price, and the price was taxes, lots of them. And those taxes weren't used for the public good, or for building roads and police protection and things. Those taxes were used to enrich Caesar and support an ever-expanding military power. But Jesus famously said, when he held up a coin with Caesar's image on it, he said, "Give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and give to God what is God's." And that phrase has generated 20 centuries worth of unanswered questions. The common ground here with John's answer and the answer of Jesus is how limited they are in their scope. Both of those answers, they don't address the sweeping theory of history, or civic arrangements and things. No, they confine themselves to the things at hand, right? The things which are important now, things about which something can be done. A lot of how we live today is caught up in the opinions and the views and the theories and even the conspiracies of our contemporary culture. We want explanations for why countries go to war, or why the climate's changed. We want theories that explain economics and disease. And a quest for knowledge is not a bad thing. But so often, the questions that we have are more likely to be about someone on the other side of the world rather than about our neighbor down the street. And if we're not careful, the bigger, more abstract questions about life can lead to a real tormenting of the soul. We are created in human form, right? We're physical beings, bodies ensouled with taste and touch. And God gives himself to us in very immediate terms: bread, wine, water, oil. And so our emphatic views, our insistent thoughts, our passionate opinions, those things which get us so worked up about things that we can't change, no matter how much they seem to matter, all of that working up and all of that frustration it's really pointless. Every day, we do nothing except give ourselves over to these things, and it's an exercise in futility. But if we turn to Jesus and asked, what should we do? The answer, I think, would be simple and immediate. Do the good that you can do. Do the good that you can do. God continually places before us the opportunity to do good. Whether it's at home or at work or at play, whether it's showing mercy or praying, good is always possible. Paying attention to whatever good we can do, wherever we might be, right in the moment, helps us avoid the distraction. It helps avoid all of the things that so many get caught up in, things that they can do nothing about. And doing the good where we are in the moment, it eases the torment of our souls. So can I encourage you, be someone who looks for the good that you can do. Whether it's big or small, whether it's in secret or in public, be someone who looks for the good that you can do. Be polite with everyone. Start with your family. Be faithful in the little things. Do your work well. Be simple. Be hidden. Be quiet. Be small. Think and talk about things no more than necessary. Don't get caught up in fantasy. Be imaginative, but don't wear yourself out trying to figure things out. Analysis paralysis. Don't try to convince everyone that you're right. It's hard to live this way. I know it can be strangely difficult. So watch out for demons. A distracted life or a fantasy existence might not only be filled with our passions, but demons as well. How could it not be? So avoid the places where demons lurk. And if in your day you find it hard to draw yourself away from the distractions and back to the good that you can do in that day, then realize that you're in a spiritual battle. And it's in that battle that your presence of mind and your prayers are most needed. May God keep you and be with you in all the good that you can do. Be blessed.